Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this daily science fiction extravaganza, commonly known as Tales from Outer Space. Taken from the subreddit HFY. All the relevant links will be down below. And, as always, I hope that you enjoy. And if you do, please consider supporting the channel. On to the science fiction. Story number 1. How to Draw Attention in a Galactic Market, written by Plusium. Art. God, I hate it. Where the frick do I start? A bunch of pretentious old twats jerking themselves off to a statue of some girl taking a crap. What the frick is that up with that? Fricking hate it. That's probably why I'm so fricking miserable right now. No, I don't get me wrong. I don't dislike art. That is, the actual drawings, paintings, or whatever. Sure, some of it I don't like, but I can appreciate the effort and thought that went into it. The concept of art that really wrangles me. There isn't some big meaning to your words. It's not like the metaphor for life and the struggle thereof. It's not the personification of evil. It's a flame that looks like a labia. Trust me, I've had enough experience in English to safely say that 90% of anything is bullcrap, including inspiration. Yet, here I am, doing an art major, me, art, with no literal gun to my head. It only took the end of modern society as we know it. Well, that's a lie. Day-to-day life stayed the same, so did the government and all that crap. It just so happens that any old Joe can now frick off to Alpha Centauri in his lunch break. So what happened? To turn an iron-loving engineering student like me into a miserable uni-art student. No, not FTL. Close. Breaking aliens with a big A. None of the immigrant kinds. Though I do suppose they have immigrated here. Big four-headed brown dude with whack hairstyle kind of aliens. And they can't draw for crap. Yeah, turns out tentacles, frick off, aren't that good at fine motor control. Even the odd species with paws or something can't match up to human hands. Our best xenobiologists still haven't put their finger on exactly how they got to space, and their alien counterparts are still on fanboy, girl, other thing over our hands to bother with anything that constitutes science or research. Shockingly, a species whose main concern is figuring out what a handle is, and whether it's tasty, didn't exactly rank scribbling on cave walls with a stick particularly high in their priorities. Not one of them. Understandably, when the first contact was made, humans did their thing. Pictures and videos were flooding Twitter in an instant the public found out. A big, freaking alien ship came in and landed in the middle of Central Park. People were going to notice. The feds knew about it in advance, which was really the only reason the ship didn't get nuked in orbit, and people didn't die that day for being trampled for whatever. But yeah, someone leaked the fact that the freaking aliens were landing in Central Park, and every wannabe artist was waiting for the stream sketchpads at the ready, some more legitimate than others. I myself was one of the less legitimate ones. Hey, I hate art, not art. So students gotta make money somehow. The aliens land, we gotta look at them, and within the minute, I crap you not, there's over 100,000 hand-drawn pieces online. Within 10 minutes, there were full-color drawings flying around Twitter. The stream hit nearly 10 million views. Memes were slamming into the subreddit like rods from God. Later estimates put the initial damage count in the first hour at nearly 100,000. It just so happened that mine was the first. Speed is key after all. The aliens, of course, these strange squid quadrupedals, imagine Cthulhu but like a dog, were monitoring the internet too. The photos didn't really faze them, nothing new there. The filters were a little new, but not that outlandish. The drawings, though, they bamboozled them. Once it was explained that it was drawn, they were immediately fascinated. The government could hardly keep them in track on negotiations. They were all looking at these amazing drawings that filtered through. The problems arose when they started taking inspiration from them. The poor things had no concept of human biology yet, so they just thought that a strangely inserted tentacles were a traditional greeting, and promptly tried it on one of the poor agents. I'm frankly amazed that they were still alive after that. I sure as hell would have opened fire the instant one of those tentacles came near me. Luckily, the agent maintained enough composure to dodge, and once the situation was resolved, he quit on the spot. No one blamed him. But that's essentially where it started. A couple of poor drawings nearly ended our species and created a generation-long fed in the Galactic Empire. But it doesn't stop there. Once everything cooled down and the negotiations ended with a favorable deal to us, provided we continued to export more drawings, the aliens had the opportunity to fully browse the internet. And, oh boy, that was an interesting time. Fads rocked their species. One day the golden blue dress, the next day everyone was saying problem. Being human became the coolest thing since, well, ever. But it was the drawings that our art truly captivated them. They found fantasy fantastic, architecture beyond grey cubes astounding, and waifus. Oh boy, did they love our waifus. Practically overnight, all the starving artists on Earth were receiving thousands of commissions for the weirdest freaking things ever. The aliens didn't quite have the grasp on what a waifu, hell, or an OC was, and so requested the most inane things. As the first artist to have been seen by them, I received quite a number of strange requests. I do believe my favorite was a squirrel sitting up on an apple throwing a cheesecake and an orange elephant. I still don't know if that alien was alright, but good God, did they pay. In the week, people were dropping career paths that they'd been on for decades just to fill the still-growing need for artists. We had doctors, lawyers, hell, even a movie star famously leave their positions to fulfill a sudden urge to draw. To this day, historians and sociologists have still put off dealing with the cultural shifts that took place on Earth and in space. So, yeah, waifus. Anime captivated the aliens, so did the old Disney movies, and just any cartoon, really. I just so happened that there was a frickload more weeb crap than the Lion Kings. Good God, were they smug. All those prissy art students sitting in their mother's basement watching Stuck in a Fantasy World with a harem of stupid OP girls who have huge boobs and also a missing personality, and I have 3 brain cells from how much my father beat me. They were so goddamn smug, lauding their newfound financial stability and security over the STEM fields. Oh, look at us. We picked up a career path so goddamn useless it took an alien culture shock to make us relevant. And, ha! Look at you, smarty pants. I bet you can't even calculate how to make money now. Pretentious twats. I guess that's why it hurts so much. I don't want to do art. It was a fun hobby, but engineering was my passion. But no one wants an engineer now. The aliens have all the tech that we could ever need. Why try to learn? Why try to improve when you're beat at every turn? There was no point to STEM anymore. Besides, the uni was dropped in the course next year. Not financially beneficial. The professors cost too much, and there were, I think, 3 applicants last year, compared to the 3,000 for arts degrees. So, here I sit, writing this in an art lecture, hating every second, and yet it is the only way that I could make enough money to contemplate pursuing engineering in the future. Homeschool, it is. I have to teach myself to weld in between drawing questionable content for Space Cthulhu's. But I'll make it. Always did, always will, and I'll be damned if a little economic trouble stop me from following my dream. I'll show those damn aliens what a real engineer can do. End of story. Story number 2. Class 12, A Brief Note on Humans, written by Chucky Snow. The Interspecies Council of Drebin Beta has recently classified humans on the species personality spectrum scale. As they are first ones to rate an unusual designation, a proper explanation is in order. As the reader is certainly aware, the SPS scale determines the variety of personality types found within any given species. The scale has proven quite useful when dealing with unfamiliar species. Hive minds and psychically linked drone species commonly rate as a Class 1. To meet one member of a species is to have met them all, up and to the point that many of these species do not even designate individual names for the members. On the other hand of the scale, the most independently minded, individual-based races often include the ones that find conflict amongst themselves, are a Class 10. On this scale, humans rate a class 12. Humans are amongst the most altruistic beings in the galaxy. They can, and often do, place the lives of others above themselves. While this is not unheard of, humans are one of the very few that would do so for other species. Humans can also be the most selfish, thoughtless, petty creatures one could ever meet. More unusual still is that at various times a single human could fall into both categories. A human could be highly educated, or they could spend their entire lives avoiding all learning. They could abhor violence, or they could be the most hardened soldier. They could be a great builder or a great destroyer. They can be both guardian and criminal. They can be the most understanding creatures and the most deceitful. They can show outstanding kindness or harbor legendary grudges. Even as a race with a military might, they can be saviors or they can be death itself. No other species has ever been known to go to war with another species and then spend vast resources helping that same species recover from their defeat. Humans have done this twice in their history with both the Kellians and the Dirac. Post-Reconstruction, they all are trading partners to this day. Humans has some of the closest alliances and most bitter rivalries known. Even amongst the interhuman interactions, there are wide differences. Groups often differ in their preferred forms of government, if they prefer government at all. They argue amongst themselves about nearly everything. Humans can argue about the quality of the atmospheric conditions, their preferred diet, even which animals make the best companions. Historically, humans have had hundreds of individual territories called countries, and have had thousands of different languages. For nearly their entire pre-war history, at least one group of humans was at war with another. At various points, they had conflicts amongst themselves that were so large that they termed them world wars. This is not at all to say that humans are not reliable. Humans are in high demand in all types of industry and employment throughout the known worlds. They are often asked to arbitrate disagreements, and their wisdom is often sought out in seats of councils. Their ability to be many things gives them a physiological point of view few other creatures can match. But to know a human is just that, to know a single human. They refer to themselves as human beings, placing the emphasis on the individual. Each one is different, and each one is truly unique. Their variety is so great that the council felt it only right to name them the first Class 12 species. End of story. And that, my friends, concludes this dose of science fiction fun. I hope that you enjoyed. And if you did, please don't forget to support the author from the link down below. But if you want to support this channel, there are links as well down below for you to help with. But the easiest way would be to share this video. And if you are so inclined, subscribe as well. I will see you all in the next episode, and I hope that you all have a fantastic time until then. Cheers.